Good evening. I would like to call the City of Portage Planning Commission meeting to order for Monday, July 1st. If you would stand and say the pledge. Mr. Cherry, could you call roll?
Victor Mendoza. Here. Melissa Weidenbach.
Here.
Anthony Wire. Carissa Childers.
Here.
Sam LeBoy.
Here.
Deb Ekdahl.
Here.
Denise Little.
Here.
Victoria Vasquez.
Here.
Alonzo Garcia.
Here.
If everybody has had an opportunity to look at the minutes, if there are no corrections or additions, may I have a motion to approve?
So
Make a
moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Cherry, anything for from our staff?
No reports.
Okay. Could you call our first order of business?
Z-02-24, Jack Souza, care of Daniel Tim of CCSK Law, 57 Michigan Avenue, Suite 101, Valparaiso, Indiana, requesting a change of zoning from R2 low-density residential to M1 low-density multifamily residential, consisting of 16.46 acres located north of Squirrel Creek subdivision. To clarify, we're looking for either a favorable or unfavorable recommendation to City Council.
Thank you. Good evening. If you would like to go ahead and make your presentation.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to see us this evening. I am Daniel Tim with CCSK Law, and to my left is Jack Souza, who has been a builder of quality homes for, what, 30 years. Over 30 years. So if we look at the first, well, that's just the agenda. So again, we are talking about the top section of our parcel, which is located here. The intent of the project would be, what we would like to build is high-quality, affordable paired patio homes. There's currently an approved plat on file. We have worked with the city and the various departments to try to come up with a plan that would serve not only the city, but the existing neighbors as well as any potential new, people that might move into the neighborhood. So if you look at the little dot there, that's the location of our proposed project. You can see that the current neighborhood has been built below. So those are obviously existing houses. And then looking at the surrounding area, there are also some single-family. There's quite a bit of open space out there. There's also some light industrial. And then, a little bit farther to the west or east there's a mobile home park. So this is the proposed plat that we have provided to the city. When we met with the various departments of the city, we learned that we believe as the plat is currently platted with some minor modifications, the way that the full neighborhood was intended to be developed, we would still be building homes for fewer than what was intended. So, for example, the water use. What's already been approved is, from what we've been told thus far, is sufficient for that. The same with I believe the fire service. The storm sewers also are done and completed. So basically, there was a development that was supposed to be developed. They built portions of it, but then there's a couple of sections that have yet to be developed, and Jack would just like to come in and develop that northern parcel. As you guys know, quality, affordable homes, that's a hot button issue all across the country. Clearly, there's some issues with that. A lot of people don't necessarily want that around them. So we fully understand that. However, our plan for the development is hopefully a little bit different than what some people may have in mind. So if you look on the screen now, these are the type of homes that we are proposing here. So it would be a paired patio home, and then there's a couple. So the main Camden, and then a couple of other options. So this is certainly a little bit different than, say, an apartment building or some of the other things that people might tend to think of when they think of a multifamily use or multifamily use, sorry. So, as we were going through your comprehensive plan, trying to determine if this was a good fit for the project, the first thing that you're looking at there is the comprehensive plan obviously is going to allow for the city to develop and grow. We feel that this project fits right within the current plan, maybe not within the current zoning, obviously, but it overall fits within the plan. What we'd like to do with this plan is a mix of housing types. Obviously, that allows for a mix of needs, which allows for a little bit more diversity maybe in the neighborhood. It also allows, again, high-quality, lower cost options for people, particularly in Mr. Zeus's profession. He prefers to build homes that he then sells. There's no rentals, anything like that. And then the market that he typically targets would be either retired people that would like to move in, particularly with the accessibility to 80 right there to the toll road. Certainly Illinois, as we all know, is looking for places maybe a little bit less expensive to live, and communities like this one are reaping the benefits of that. Another thing within the comprehensive plan that we'd like to point out is what we're trying to do is use the land efficiently here. So as you can see, that it's currently kind of certainly it's a beautiful neighborhood, but it's not finished there. Some of that land needs and should be used. Certainly open areas are very important, and obviously we don't want to have too much density within the neighborhood. But again, all of the numbers that we're looking at still assume a lower head count, if you will, as far as density than what was originally approved. And that was even under the old, comprehensive plan, so, or the previous iteration thereof. And then if we're going to look at the structures within the district, obviously in this, if you go back to that first slide that I showed, this certainly is a residential area. Again, there's a little bit of industrial out there and a little bit of multifamily a little bit farther east, or not necessarily multifamily, but more dense housing. There's also quite a bit of undeveloped open space that's currently existing there. In fact, even assuming that what we would like to do is approved, there will still be 36 acres of open land to the south, in the same development, just to the south. So the third thing that the board is looking at here is what's the most desirable use for the land. So in this instance, currently, again, single family, but here we'd like to transition to multifamily because that will, again, allow us to help the city grow in a balanced way. It will allow us to, or allow you to, bring in lower priced, affordable homes for a very specific market that will enhance the overall community. The fourth issue that I discussed, at least in the materials that I provided to you, is we'd like to conserve the property values. And, this is a discussion that Jack and I have had, quite a few times over the course of this project. When you're talking about property values, there's often a connotation that, areas that have more multifamily homes sometimes have a little bit lower value. What we would like to point out is that in an instance like this, Jack has experienced over and over throughout the years, as have many other developers or builders, the opposite for a scenario like this. Again, we're taking something that's unfinished with, I'm assuming it's a great neighborhood. Obviously, there's a lot of people who are living there and seem to enjoy living there. We're certainly not trying to make this detrimental to them. We're hoping to help expand, expand their neighborhood, expand their lives, and ultimately raise their property values. As more people come in, more taxes are coming in. Nicer homes are being built over here. They're selling quickly. They're selling at a newer price. So obviously, if you got, the way that taxes are calculated, that is slowly going to help increase those property values. Secondarily, the paired patio homes that we are contemplating here are they're not ticky-tacky, cheap. These are very good quality yet affordable homes. Again, specifically marketed to an older or not necessarily older, but a more retired, a more mature use. And or younger professionals as they're starting out in their career, maybe they want to get their first starter home. So those are kind of the two areas that Jack has seen a lot of success over the years marketing to, and seen his neighborhoods that are developments that he's been a part of grow and flourish within those communities as well. So the fifth and final issue that point that I made on the handout there is what we're going to try to do is we want responsible growth within the entirety of the city, but obviously more specifically within this area. So if we're looking at efficiency, I think it was Roy Rogers that said, you should always buy land because they're not making any more, which may or may not be a good advice, but in this instance, obviously, when you're looking at efficiency, if you can have a more, or a smaller area that has more people living in a way that is beneficial to everyone. That's how we would view that efficiency. Higher density, but not high density. That's going to help us with not only the land, but also the use of the natural resources that we have to worry, that we're all concerned with as well. Secondarily, tying into that, sustainability. We want to concentrate through your comprehensive plan, you want to concentrate your growth in target areas. Certainly that's understandable. We don't feel that what we're requesting is outside of the current direction or trajectory that Portage is on. And then finally, again, community enhancement. So there's going to be amenities, infrastructure. A lot of the infrastructure is in. There'll be some new infrastructure. There will be green areas that do remain. And there will be, again, just a more efficient and suitable use for that particular parcel. Another point that certainly we would like to discuss is when we're discussing density and when we're discussing traffic, the type of homes that we are contemplating here, again, are going to be marketed to a group of people who, on average, have 1 to 2 cars per household, as opposed to, if you look at the statistics, a lot of, 3 to 4 bedroom homes, they might have the average of 4 to 5 cars per household. So what Jack has seen over the years, and again, backed up by statistics, is while there may be 2 homes on that, what's currently 1 lot, there's still going to be less people in those 2 homes than there would be if you had 1 home, as far as not only people, but vehicles. And then secondarily, it's a road parcel. I think that's going to fix the road congestion. Yeah. I don't know if I want to bring up the road though yet. Should we wait until they bring that up? Probably, I would say. Here. Okay. So as we reviewed the report that we were provided today with the findings from the staff, it was one of the main points that we took from that was basically the traffic, the fact that there's only 1 entrance into the subdivision. So if you're looking back at the history of the subdivision, which I know that you guys have been provided all of that, initially, as I mentioned before, it was going to be a much larger subdivision. At some point, the area to the south was reclassified as a wetland. So now that it's classified as a wetland, that really limits what can ever be done with that property. So if in fact it becomes a question of 1 entrance into the subdivision, we'd certainly be open to discussing any other options that anyone has as far as providing another one. That's, I think, pretty good. I think that's a summary of what we have, and certainly we'd love to answer any questions.
Okay. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
What I'm going to do now is open for the public hearing. We have quite a few people here today. If you do not feel comfortable standing up and talking, you can write a letter and we will put that into the minutes and record it. With so many people here, if somebody says and makes a statement, you can come up and say your name and say that you agree with that. But we don't want 75 people saying the same thing over and over again. So that way you will be recorded as agreeing to whatever that statement would be.
Can I bring up motive, why they want
That can be part of your presentation. And what we will do, we will not answer the questions from each person, but I and the presenters will be taking notes and have every question answered after we close the public hearing. So, is there anybody here to speak for the petitioner? Is there anybody here to speak for the petitioner? Ma'am, are you here to speak for the petitioner?
I'm just here to speak for the subdivision. I have
Okay,
a petition.
ma'am,
Is it a different one? Wrong one? I'm for the wrong person?
correct.
I think she's for the right person.
I don't want you to come across as,
Thank you very much.
we want to make sure we get this right.
You too.
Is there anybody here to speak for the petitioner? Is there anybody here to speak against the petitioner? No. Okay. And what I would like to do to save a little bit of time is when we have a person speaking, if the next person that would like to speak could be on the wall, and then that way when whoever is done, you'll be there, and then the next person. So we can have everybody that would like to speak have the ability to speak. And go ahead and state your name, write your address.
My name is Loretta Williams. I live at 2845 Alexis Street in Portage. I'm one of the streets that's going to be affected by this. So I did a petition, which I dropped off at the city last week, that showed that almost all of these people here does not want the zoning change. It is just going to be too much. Multifamily is going to be a lot of stuff going on. It's the public service and everything. That's just too many people there. I mean, there's going to be more cars, more people, more everything. It's just too much. We just don't want the multifamily at all there. And we feel that if the multifamily is done like he said, that's nice that they have that looks like a little townhouse, whatever they call them. But after 4 or 5 years, they're going to sell them, they're going to rent them, and it's going to ruin the whole place. That's pretty much all I have to say. But if you want to, I gave him a copy of it. I don't know if you guys all got a copy of the petition.
We did, the city did provide us
Okay.
with your petition.
Okay, then that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Not only will this bring down property values, this is why, the reason, in my understanding, is why they want to put in multi-unit. I was friends with a lot of sewer from your village. They told me, phase one, that man got kicked out because he put in too small sewer lines. Am I correct?
We will answer
Well,
questions.
They put in too small sewer lines to accommodate R1. To make it feasible for that property to be built, to make money, they would have to tunnel a new sewer line underneath the tollway for a hookup. And this is the main reason why they it doesn't pay for them to go R1 and tunnel underneath. They have to go multi. Okay?
Sir, could you state your name and your address? And did you?
Goldfinch. Paul.
Okay, sir? Can you state your address so we can track?
304 Goldfinch.
304?
2804.
2804.
It's all about, for that property there, it's all about this. Look into it.
Hello, my name's Evan Wazalewski. I live at 6895 Squirrel Creek. I also own a 3-acre parcel just south of my residents. I just want to preface, my thoughts and opinions are that of my own, not of the Portage Police Department. I'm not here on their behalf. I just worked today and I stayed over, so I didn't have a chance to change out of this. That's why I'm hearing this today. With that being said, I believe I'm the longest standing resident in the subdivision. I was the second house built in there when I was 21. And about 21 years ago, I think I came to a very similar meeting when the original developer tried this exact same thing. And at that time, it was just me and one other family that came here. And at that time, the city basically turned it down. So I'm asking that that be done again. Like I said, I was 21, I built my house, single-family homes, that's why I moved there. Born and raised in Portage, same as my wife. You know, we're a young couple, and that's where we wanted to live, and we wanted single-family homes. And that's how I think it should stay. Some of the concerns I have, obviously, when it comes to real estate, it's all about making money. We know that, we're all adults. And the choice to go to that is obviously more profitable than single-family homes, that'd be my guess. I know it's already zoned for that, and I don't think anyone here would have a problem with single-family homes. I'm not gonna speak for them, but it's my understanding that one day that could happen. So if that did, I wouldn't be opposed to it because I built my home there knowing that there was eventually supposed to be a road there. So I couldn't come in here and say that I'm against a road being there in single-family homes. I'm just against multifamily homes. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samantha Windsor. I live at 6927 Medora Avenue. Dear City Council members, my name is Samantha Windsor, and I have lived in Squirrel Creek for 14 years. Our neighborhood is quiet, and it's a safe place for our children. We have a total of 5.25 streets where the kids are safe to play and have free roam around the neighborhood without lots of traffic. Introducing multifamily houses into our already established neighborhood can potentially have detrimental effects on our neighborhood and our home values as well. My main concern is traffic. As of right now, as stated, we have like 5 streets in our neighborhood. We have around 75 houses in our neighborhood. The one street being built would have, I believe, it's 35 lots or around there, which would double, so about 70 houses or multifamily units, and our whole neighborhood has 75 houses. So on one street, it would double our capacity as a neighborhood. That nearly doubles the amount. I said this would cause an immense amount of traffic on 2 roads that we have. The first one would be Cheryl leading into the neighborhood, or Squirrel Creek leading into the neighborhood, and it would go to the back of the proposed route. The next one would be when you come in and you make a right, that is Cheryl. We only have 1 entrance and 1 exit, which is at the front of the neighborhood, which would allow for all of the traffic to be coming in through that one spot. I said, he mentioned that there are around 2 cars per unit. So if we have 145 houses, multifamily and families living with our already established neighborhood, times 2 cars, we would have 145 families times 2 cars, that's 290 cars for 1 entrance and 1 exit. This would increase parking issues as well. As we know, property values are a big concern. Property values in single-family neighborhoods often reflect exclusively on the desirability of living in a low-density residential area, and introducing multifamily units would alter this perception that we have currently. It would lower our property values due to these concerns of increased traffic, the noise, the loss of the exclusivity that we now have. I said there's a major concern of how building multifamily homes would affect our property values, maybe not now, but like somebody else said, in the next few years, where now it seems nice that a person that's retired buys it and moves in, but in a few years, if somebody passes away, then we come in with somebody that buys it to rent it, who's gonna keep up with the maintenance on those. The possibility of turnovers are very high, and that would also increase our, impact our property values as well. Basically, in conclusion, I feel that there are many negative effects building this multifamily housing would have on our neighborhood. Traffic, main concern, property values, turnover rates, cutting down the natural area where wildlife currently lives, and thus causing more traffic from the toll road. Once, obviously, we know if there was a single-family housing, I wouldn't be standing here, but when all of that is cut down, there's already noise from the toll road. Once all of that is cut down, there will be a lot more noise. I don't know if they're building something to cut down, like a sound barrier, so that we wouldn't have as much noise in the neighborhood, or what that would be like. So please consider voting no for rezoning our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mike Rivera. I live at 6919 Nancy Avenue. Unlike the officer, I didn't move in that subdivision until 2016, so I wasn't there from the beginning. But I did choose that house after looking at 30 homes in that subdivision because it met the criteria that I was looking for. I love the fact that it has one way in and one way out. I know they spoke of perhaps adding another way in, another way out. I'm not for that. I like the one way in, one way out, and the amount of houses we have there and the traffic we have there, it seems to work fine. It's never cluttered. I can't speak for everybody here, but I can speak on behalf of a lot of my neighbors that are close to me, and we speak. And again, we chose this subdivision, and perhaps I may have seen another house that I liked more than this one. But this one, I was raising an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old at the time. And anyone in that subdivision, anyone that pulls in and drives in that subdivision either lives there, is visiting someone there, or is having a pizza delivered to them. Other than that, you've got no business in there. There's no cruising by. There's no youngsters hanging out the doors, waving at people. It's a really good subdivision, and when I moved in 2016, it looked like it had been a project that didn't finish. But I did know that it was approved for single-family homes. And as he stated, I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with the single-family homes in addition, and it would increase the value of our homes. But I don't see how anyone could think that multifamily duplexes, and we were shown a picture of a Camden, but he said there were 2 other options. We never did see the options come up on the screen, and those are really nice drawings. Are the houses or the duplexes going to look like that? I don't know. But I don't see how it could increase the value of our homes. I really don't see how it can. As Ms. Windsor said, you know, they're targeting a specific group of people, retired, perhaps older, fixed income, but you know, that comes to an end. And when those duplexes, multifamily structures get sold, then they're to do what they want with, you know. I myself have a rental property, or used to have a rental property in East Chicago, and I'm guilty of not keeping up with it as I keep up my own home. So I'm here speaking on behalf of some of our neighbors, not everybody, of course, in that you say no to this rezoning of our subdivision.
Thank you.
Do I write my name on here? Should I write something on here?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Your name and address?
So my name's Laura McWaters. I live at 2814 Goldfinch. My mother originally bought the house when I was 16 years old, and she had said to me, we looked at one of the subdivisions that was developing, and we looked at Goldfinch, and she said, I want you to find a house that you want, that you can buy from me when I get old, and you can raise your family in. So we downgraded my mother, and now I'm raising my family of 4 there. We love the neighborhood. It's quiet. If there is a car, I usually know what house they're going to. One of the problems we have with the neighborhood is the lack of accessibility. There is one sidewalk going down McCool, going towards 6. You cannot go over the bridge to Central without it being a danger. We lived on Robbins, and we always walked the trail. My kids love riding their bikes there. We like going to the park. We, however, have to get into our car, and we have to drive. So if you have low-income families who maybe have a working parent who's gone all the time. You then have a child who's home alone who may say, I want to go to the store. I want to go here. They then either have to cross over the bridge or they have to ride down McCool, where people drive 60 miles an hour. It's a danger. So I feel like multifamily homes may be good in a different part of Portage. You know, they have the apartments over by Founders Square. That's wonderful, because you can go to the grocery store if you need food without having to get into your car. Off of McCool, a single-family home is okay, because we are packed. We always have food for our children. We're set up for our families. For a single-family home, it is hard to get. We're set as a single-family home. As a multi-family home, there's no accessibility for the amount of people to go in and out. It's a risk for the children. There's no parks or anything to occupy kids nearby. And then for the elderly, it's also a lack of accessibility for elderly who cannot drive cars. You may see people walking on the sidewalk who don't have groceries and they don't have anybody who can bring them food, so you see elderly people walking to the store. They don't have a way to get food if they live on McCool. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There's also no names on this piece of paper, so, okay.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Rodriguez, and I live on 6962 Medora Avenue.
Can you sign in, please?
Yeah, of course. My parents moved there in 2016, and I've lived there my whole entire life. I was born there. I was raised, born here, raised there. Absolutely. 18. There we go. It's okay. He can speak for me. But we've been there a very long time, and for the first time ever, I actually had off of work today. And for the first time ever, I've noticed that I heard a little girl screaming and playing outside, and that was like the most astounding thing to me, because as a kid growing up there, all of the kids grew up. Everyone's older now. We're all in college. We all moved on with our lives, and some of us still live there, but now I'm watching us have kids and us be able to have our kids run outside, and this is where my parents want to live. Like, their house is almost paid off. My dad's been talking about it for the longest time. He's so excited, and I know one day my kids are going to be going to their grandparents' house and being able to play. And now it's like hearing these multi-houses being built there, it's dangerous. It's scary for all this traffic and all of these things happening in one entrance, one exit. We just got to the point where I believe I've witnessed our community in our little neighborhood. We went through back and forth of not having the right neighbors, and we finally have the perfect neighbors. Like, all of our neighbors, we get along, we get together, we have fun, and now it's like, if we add a whole bunch of these new people, it's traffic, and it sounds like a danger, and all these kids aren't gonna be able to ride their bikes back and forth on the street like I did when I was a kid. They're gonna be scared of the traffic. And on McCool, from how long I've been living there, I was always scared of that road. There's kids that go on that road from the trailer park across from us, and finally we got a sidewalk. I've 2 minutes passed, and I've seen someone pass away on that road. And finding out more traffic is gonna go on that road, and seeing more people getting pulled over as it is, and all of the crashes I have seen, and it's just so much to handle that I witnessed so many things on that street. To add more traffic into that area just doesn't make sense to me. And on top of that, our little neighborhood that we have so many wildlife. Like, Squirrel Creek is actually becoming Squirrel Creek. I actually seen a squirrel, and that's insane, because we've never seen a squirrel before. Like, that baffles me. I've seen chipmunks, rabbits, and this is the first time I've been home in forever. Rabbits, deers, coyotes, nobody likes them, but coyotes, like, we see everything there. So where are they gonna go? Portage is known for the dunes. We're known for being visited. Like, everyone loves us for our wildlife, so where is that gonna go? Where are we, when you build on that, are you gonna move them? Are they just gonna be taken down? We see robins, blue jays, hummingbirds. What's gonna happen when you knock those trees down? All of that's just gonna be gone. We feed those animals all day long. My neighbor, she has all the hummingbird set up, and we watch them all day. We find enjoyment with that. So all of it's just gonna be gone. Like, I live here for the dunes. I live here for the wildlife, and it's just gonna not be there anymore. And that hurts my heart, because already it feels like every location around Portage is built to the point where there's so many stores, there's so many condos, there's so many apartments. That's not a home. That's not where we want to be at. We moved to Portage because there wasn't all that traffic. There wasn't so many people visiting all the time. When they visit, they respect the dunes. They respect our wildlife. They respect our neighborhoods. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's all I really have to say.
Thank you.
No problem.
Good evening. William Kressel, 5628 Evergreen Avenue. Since 1991, I purchased 2 small houses in town. Where I'm coming from is from a point of firsthand experience. I bought this property with the intention, I'm now in my retirement years, that should I need the extra income, my adjacent house, I'd be able to rent out. It's been my experience over the years that if you have your vehicle break down and you go and you get a rental vehicle, do you really drive it like it's your own? Are you really personally invested in it? At some point in time, these patio homes, duplexes, whatever type of nomenclature, as so previously well stated, at some point in time, they're going to become rentals. And the quality of life is going to deteriorate in that area. When I've had tenants, as well as I tried to vet the tenants, they just simply didn't take care of my property like I take care of my property. Same as with a rental vehicle. You will not take care of a rental vehicle. You're going to be putting the pedal to the metal as opposed to your own vehicle. You're asking to double the concentration of the demographics of this particular area right next to a wetland, as the lady stated. That's going to further degrade the area. One way in, one way out. I'm a retired OSHA safety trainer. I do not like that. A former Army medic, ambulance crew, emergency room technician. Crap happens. One way in, one way out. May not be enough. I'm really asking the zoning board or the board to deny this zoning change. There are just too many negatives involved with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Luis Rodriguez. I will sign. I have to agree with, this is my subdivision right here. We're not family, but we are friends. We live next to each other. And I have to agree with a lot of the points. I mean, they all have valid points. Bottlenecking of the one exit, introducing low housing income. How can that improve my living area, you know? There's a lot of valid points. The gentleman that just spoke, that's what I want to do. I want to be that person. This is why the criteria I picked for my home, I want to do what he's doing. I want to retire one day. And like my daughter says, we've been there 18 years. She had the dates wrong. But I'm almost done. You know, I'm happy to say my game plan is to pay off my home. And I don't want to work. I'm 55. I don't want to work the normal 65 and then retire. I want to explore. I want to do other things while I got this, you know, as I'm healthy. But yeah, I have to vote for no for this zoning. I just don't understand how introducing low-income homes can improve all of our homes. We've all take care of our homes. I love driving down the neighborhood, seeing the different types of landscaping, how the individuals take care of their homes. And also, I've seen generations grow and graduate and become professional people here. My daughter, she's one of those. I got a 15-year-old that doesn't know nothing else but Squirrel Creek and Portage. She roams out of Portage and she does not feel safe. She's like, it's so weird to me, but I tell her, you know, this is home for her. And to introduce more volume, it just doesn't make sense. Like everyone says, it's just going to double the whole traffic. It's going to, I mean, why am I not seeing maybe in those designs things for kids? I don't see like a little park or anything like that. Like I saw in the first, you know, when I moved in, they had ideas for because once we exit there, there's nowhere else for kids to go. There's nowhere else for kids to go. They either go into that street, and I've seen a child die on that street, just playing ball, and the ball rolled out into the street, and she got hit. And that didn't just happen with one. It happened several people on that. Like my daughter was saying, it's an unsafe street, the McCool Street. But yeah, I don't see anything for kids. And then introducing these these homes are gonna just double and increase. You say there's gonna be one family in there, but one family could be more than two people. Once they buy it, we don't know who's gonna move in there. So for me, I would have to say no, and that's all I have for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I gotta do one thing at a time. I do believe I sent all of you guys, except for Miss Ambler, an email.
Can you state your name and?
Oh, I'm sorry. Richard Conley. I live at 2844 Alexis Street. When I found out about this, I sent an email to, I believe, all of you guys except for Miss Ambler. I sent Miss Vacquez 2 emails. My family moved to Indiana in 2014. Luckily, my voice has changed, so I sound like everybody else now. But we moved up here in 2014, and I rented for a few years because I didn't know the area. And my neighbor Aaron, I worked with him at the mill, and he told me about the house. And we have 3 children, and I was taking care of my mother-in-law at the time. And we wanted a safe place to raise our family. And it was single-family homes. That was important to us. It was zoned that way for a reason. We would like, all of us here would like that to stay that way. McCool, as many people have said, is a very busy street. I don't know how many times since I've lived in the neighborhood, and I moved there in 2018, where that golf course road, I don't know what the name of that road is, I think it's Robbins Road. How many accidents happen there? I jog and walk that road all the time. I've seen many accidents there with the current traffic. I've seen people just blow right through it, don't even stop. I think that's why most of the accidents happen. And introducing so many more cars and so many more traffic. My son last year, lady was talking about the bridge. He was riding his bike over the bridge and got hit by a truck. Luckily, he didn't sustain any injuries severe. I think he might have been concussed a little bit. He went to the emergency room. It could have been a lot worse, but I like our neighborhood the way it is. I've been a country boy my whole life. I never lived in a subdivision until I moved up here. So where I'm at, I kind of like it because, you know, there's fields around me. So it kind of feels like home, but I like seeing people walking their dogs and Miss Madrina and her family. We like it the way it is. I don't know all these people, but I like our neighborhood. And I don't never see police coming into our neighborhood, except for Evan and the other guy. We don't mind seeing them. I don't mind seeing Evan, but as far as, we don't have issues in our neighborhood, and that's the way we want to keep it. And I would urge that this planning committee, vote no for this. They want a favorable or non-favorable. I say non-favorable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reverend Michael Cooper, 5455 Clem Road. It's great to see so many residents from Squirrel Creek over here today. I had an opportunity when I walked around the neighborhood to talk to them, and one of the things I remember talking to them about was the rezone that happened right next door to them with the security door parcel. And as you recall, Madam Chairperson, I spoke against that prior rezone of the security door parcel to the west of this proposed development last year. My argument at that public hearing was that the rezone of the farmland from that residential to industrial to an industrial use would impact any further extension of residential neighborhoods on either side. The response from the staff and Attorney Leach was that these neighborhood extensions were not possible. The land was undevelopable due to mitigation and cost issues. That response seems to have not been the truth, as it seems that the adjacent parcel that is now next to an industrial zone that is being developed is buildable and at a more dense and lower price point product. My first question is if it was okay to put an industrial zone because the argument was that they were not going to be able to build any more residential, why is it okay now to put a new residential neighborhood next to a brand-new industrial site here in Portage? The second question I have concerns they mentioned that the site plan was already pre-approved. And that site plan, I would assume, and staff could confirm, was done under the understanding that the parcel next to it was zoned residential. So now that that parcel is zoned industrial use and is being and developed as an industrial parcel, is there going to be any changes that need to be done to the already approved buffer zones that protect these residents who are going to be moving into this new development? Or are those buffer zones going to have to be varianced away for this development to be developed as it has been planted? And these concerns are in order to protect the health of the families that are going to be moving into this area, not only from the uses that are going to be happening at the security door parcel as it has been proposed, but also any future uses of industrial uses that progressive owners of that property might be using that parcel for. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Austin Vanta, Portage resident. 2797 Woodward Street. But there's a lot of things I'm not going to say because it's not appropriate for the mayor to be weighing it at this spot. But I've heard a lot of comments said, and I just wanted to say two things. One, just how amazing it is that so many people came out. I walked the neighborhood, of course, last year, but also twice in the last 2 weeks to make sure that people were aware of this meeting. Some great conversations, and I think it's a testament to what a great neighborhood we've got there that this many people are out speaking to you guys. The only thing I want to give for clarification coming from the city end, because I heard it said from the petitioner, but not sure if it's going to come up again, was all the references to our city's comprehensive plan, as I don't think is really news to anybody on this board, but might be news to some people here. Our city's comprehensive development plan was last passed, updated in 2009, 15 years ago. Best practice is for a comprehensive plan to be updated every 5 years, so we are really 3 plans behind. And if you're asking yourself, well, Bont has been mayor for 6 months, why haven't we done it? Well, because there's 2 ways you can do a comprehensive plan. One is you have a meeting and maybe 20 people show up and you come up with a 200-page plan. That's not what you want. Or you have a meeting kind of like this, or lots of meetings like this, where 200 show up and maybe you write a 20-page plan. I'm not here to speak about what our current plan says or doesn't say. State law requires you guys to weigh the comprehensive plan, but I will say that if I was in the business of giving people a venue to renew their wedding vows, it'd be a little awkward to be trying to sell a couple that's like 2 months shy of getting divorced. They're just waiting for the ink to dry. We are in the process of updating our comprehensive plan, and we actually have some meetings coming up. Tom's coming to some of them about getting either a company or an entity to facilitate that. But just being aware that, well, the comp plan is important, just consider its, just say its age, but also its relevance right now when we weigh decisions in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
If I could just have an additional 30 seconds to interject. I was very blessed when I was able to buy my 2 little tiny houses. They're 2 one-bedroom, pretty much cabins in adjacent lots in the Woodland subdivision. And both my houses, I'd venture to say I keep them in pristine condition, as small as they are. They're little gingerbread houses, cute as can be, but my rental house that's 25 foot adjacent to my house, because of my experience with renters that are transient and, as I mentioned before, don't have a vested interest in the community, so to speak, of which I have a deep, deep investment in Portage. I love this town. It's my choice that I've let this house stay vacant for a number of years. Market conditions now, I'm losing well over $1,000 a month just to keep the integrity of single-family neighborhood. And I hope the commission sees the same thing. Value our town and don't let the multifamily residences take over our town. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody here to speak against the petitioner? Mr. Chair, I believe we have a letter.
Yeah, did everybody get the a copy of the letter from, where's it at here? Stephen Podlecki? Everybody get a chance to review it? Okay. Right. If there's any questions on that, we have a letter that was sent by that individual, and it's on our record. So it was in opposition to the change of zoning as well. So.
Is there anybody here to speak against the petitioner? If not, I close the public hearing. And I will let you go ahead and address the questions that have been asked.
Thank everyone very much. I attend a lot of these meetings, and I do see remonstration from time to time, but this does seem to be a city that cares about things. And to speak to Mayor Bonta's point, I do realize how old the plan is. I was unaware that they're updating it. But leaving all of that aside, we've identified a couple of, or at least I did, and Jack, certainly you could speak as you feel appropriate. I've heard a lot of language about rentals, and obviously that's a thing that happens in cities. I think that Jack would be certainly willing to put something within the covenants of the subdivision that didn't allow for rentals. I don't think that that's something that he would be opposed to, assuming that it's something that we could get done. Secondarily, I heard the barrier for noise mentioned, and that's something that we have been, discussing with the city. The last thing, believe me, that we would ever want to do is come in and make things worse for anyone. Now, obviously, people might have a different opinion on what worse is, but believe me, we're not coming here with any intention of harming anyone. We fully believe that what we have planned is going to make it better for everyone overall. The purpose of the zoning rules and the comprehensive plan is to allow for efficient, organized growth of the city. We've identified this area as a place where it would seem that there could be some more efficient growth, and we're willing to discuss barriers. We understand that the toll road is there in 94. So if anything that any of those type of issues, those are things that Jack would certainly love to hear and work with people on to try to get those kind of things taken care of, get those concerns alleviated. Another differentiation that I would like to make here is, the young lady that mentioned the wildlife and the chipmunks and the Squirrel Creek and all that, that's beautiful, and that's something certainly that everybody wants to have, and we're certainly not going to come in and cut down every tree. We might have to remove a couple to build, but the entirety of that south area is going to be completely left as it is. And I know that that's maybe a little bit farther south than where the squirrel might be living, but certainly we're not going to try to displace any of the animals or anything like that. Also, paired patio homes is, again, and I'm sorry when I mentioned three, there's not three slides, there's just three pictures of various options there. So what Jack has in mind here is, generally going to be a two-bedroom type home. So there might be a lot that's built for one four-bedroom home. What Jack wants to do is split that lot in half, so now you have the same size home, it's just owned by two separate families. So again, maybe it's a little bit more dense, but with the two-bedroom home, there's not going to be, assuming, too many people living in there, number one. Number two, each owner of each individual parcel, assuming that the zoning change was approved, would own their parcel. So you own your parcel, you own your home, so it is a multifamily home because it's a paired home. But it's still home ownership. You own your home, your neighbor owns your home. So that's another thing that we would like to mention. Certainly no apartments wherever, and anywhere in our minds. That's certainly not something, or condominiums either. That's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for one home, one owner. Another thing, I just wanted to make just make it clear that we're not asking for low-income housing. What we're trying to provide is affordable, high-quality housing. So this isn't necessarily going to be, this isn't a low-income type, in the general, way that term is used. That wouldn't be anything that we would be proposing now. Jack, I know that you had some.
Good evening. Well, I just want to thank everyone for showing up on both sides of the fence here. But congestion, okay. I've built several thousand homes. This is not my first rodeo, as they say. So thousands of homes in hundreds of neighborhoods. So congestion. Here we have a platted site. This is the issue that at the end of the day, it's the platted site that we have that we're contending with. I can't, under jurisdiction, change a plat, okay? As much as I want to, I cannot. I can maybe make a modification. You have a city engineer here from Great Lakes Engineering. we can add a street, we can do that. That's fire and safety, though. That has nothing to do with what I want to do. That's strictly the fire department that requires access points. These items that come up are all predetermined for the best interest of all citizens. It's not just me, it's not just the people who live there, it's for everyone as a whole. Now, the site's platted for 40 lots, as it is, okay? In our historical data, okay, 40 lots will produce roughly around 200 people, additional people living there. That's our historical data, all right? And another 160 cars. And these 160 cars and these 200 people are very active during the day. Teenagers, soccer, all types of activities taking place. Very active. Growing families, understood. Understand it, not a problem. All right. However, I've taken the liberty of replatting that and looking at the site and looking at what's needed throughout the area. And we've come up with 79 lots. And our historical data, again, tells us when there's 79 lots, say 80, say 77, whatever, we're going to be down to 120 people. 120 people that have already raised their families. These are people that are empty nesters or retired. Very stable, very good for the community, and they believe in the community. And why are they here? Because they believe in the community, all right? They're not active during the day. They're not going to have teenagers with their friends coming over. They're going to go out at the least impactful times during the day, doctors and grocery shopping. Also, these 79 homes will produce 79 cars only versus 160.
Excuse me, sir. The public hearing is done.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's no problem. Retired people, we've all had parents. They live together, they go out together. They're downsizing. They need a smaller home, smaller responsibility because that's just the way life is. And so they're down to one car. That's all they need. That's all they need. So 79 cars versus 160 cars, 120 people versus 200. 200 extremely active people that are in the prime of their youth versus 120 people that have already lived a beautiful and wonderful life and now just are going to retire. Now, finally, rentals, out of the question, absolutely out of the question. That's easily controlled by a mechanism called covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Easily controlled, done it many a times, not a problem. We build that into the CC&Rs as they're known, recorded in the county, done, finished. Have an HOA in place, done. Violation, done. Eviction, get them out, done. It's not a complicated, I'm not oversimplifying this. This is what I do for a living, all right? I'm not oversimplifying. These are all mechanisms that are in place. Just like a traffic ticket for going through a red light, there's housing. We have all types of stop mechanisms to prevent abuses and all types of irregularities. So this is, again, this is an approved plat. I can't change it. Plats are not changed. I'm more than happy to come in and build 40 single-family homes. Not a problem. That's what you want. You're going to have twice as much activity. The police department, schools, the impact on schools is going to be tremendous now because they're all families now. Now we're going to have young children. Police department's going to get called. Teenagers are going to be arguing with their friends. I've seen this 100 times over, okay?
A little respect, please. Go ahead.
Park, okay? Again, I cannot designate a park. The plan and the calls for a plan, if there's a park designated, that's what gets built. Within this agreement that was agreed to 20-plus years ago, each house that gets sold gets a $400 contribution. I'm going to make a $400 contribution once it's platted. So if I get platted for 80 lots, I'm going to make a $32,000 contribution to the Park District. Where they're gonna spend the money, I don't know, and that's fine with me, because it goes in the Park District Fund. That's where it goes. It's already approved. That can't be changed. I can't change that. I can't say I'm not gonna give you anything. Oh, it's already written down and approved in the recorded plan. So, there you go. Park, you got density, you got traffic, and you got entrance ramp. There's the man that can handle the entrance. He's the guy who can design it. He can design it right there. And he understands fire and safety. That's what he designs entrances for. And where are we gonna get a curb cut? Who's gonna give us a curb cut on McCool Road? I don't know what that's involved. Well, I don't know. Will that take 5 years to get a curb cut? I don't know. But this is already done. So thank you very much for your time. I apologize for all this commotion. I was just trying to help. It's all I'm doing, trying to help. Now I'm making things worse. I'll just move on, is all I'll do. I'll move on and build 1,000 homes somewhere else. But this plat will stay there. It's not gonna get vacated. This plat will not get vacated. And we all know that sitting here, that plat's not gonna get vacated. It's virtually impossible to be vacated. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Before I open to questions to the board, Tom, do we have information, because I do remember the sewer in that cul-de-sac area in the back on the northwest side, would they have to go under the toll road?
We'd have to get with engineering. Could you speak to that, Alonzo? Or we would have to look that up?
We have the engineering plans done by McMahon. We have what they designed. I don't know what's actually built out there, as previously stated. It could be different. All I know is that I have what they designed. I don't know what's out there.
Yeah, we'd have to go back in history. We could find out, but there'll be some,
I know there was a problem back there
yeah, we'll have
that they had to redo.
We'd have to really look back, so.
Dan Comenda never mentioned anything like that, but
I think that was
yeah,
even
we could definitely
pre-Dan.
ask him, yeah.
That could have been pre-Dan even, yeah. So,
I'd like to comment on that sewer, okay, just briefly here, so it puts everyone's mind at rest. McMahon Engineering, they've done all the calculations. This sewer's been approved, and it was improperly designed. The letter of credit from the original developer was called upon by the city to complete the sewer installation. The calculations have all been done. It's sized, it's actually oversized, so it's plenty of capacity there. And the retention pond is actually oversized also. It's all designed to handle the outflow and runoff as this, it's done. It's done. And the sewer is sealed, so there's no debris and no animals living in there. It's sealed, ready to go into service.
Okay, one other comment. You're looking at putting retired people in a 2-story home with a full story of stairs.
This, and I apologize, the wrong set of drawings. This is just for demonstration. I apologize. Yeah. This is going to be duplex villas, which are very popular out here in Northwest
But not
Indiana.
these.
Not these.
Okay.
It's just still going to be just a paired villa, which is extremely popular here in Northwest Indiana.
Do you have a picture of what you're proposing to be there?
We have it in our file. This somehow got mixed up. I apologize.
Please. I'm now open to questions from the board.
Yes, I have a question. For clarification, so from what I understand, this was back around in the 90s. The rezoning request was denied at that time too. And at the time, was it then being proposed for single families, or was that also being proposed for multifamily at that time?
I really don't know what was happening at that time. I'm not sure.
In 2003, there was a petition for rezoning, not to M1, but to a different classification that was ultimately not successful in 2003.
So was that for multifamily, or was that for single residential?
I believe that their plan at that time was to build some type of a multifamily as well.
So then it was denied for multifamily then, but yet he's coming back again for another multifamily request to have rezoning?
Well, it's been 21 years since then, and Portage is a lot bigger, and as the mayor mentioned, the comprehensive, all we have is what's within the plan, so if you're not going to build in whatever that area is, you have the only means by which you could build somewhere where some efficiency and, at least to our view of things, some structured growth that makes economic and efficient sense. If it's not in that old 2016 plan, this is what we have to come and do.
So basically, nothing's changed since the 2003.
Well, a lot has changed since 2003, except the rules haven't changed since, was it 2009, I think that he said? Whenever Mayor Bonta said that the last change was.
2009.
And so
2009,
the-
I believe, was the last change to the plan.
And so this plan here still doesn't have anything as far as the toll road with sound barrier. There aren't any plans for any berms or anything to that nature with this particular
On the approved plat,
plan.
I believe that there are some berms, and I believe that there's a NIPSCO easement that runs along the back, and I believe that we have permission to put some type of noise barrier there as well. Again, those are things that we've had preliminary discussions with, but until we come to a meeting like this and get everybody else's input, we don't really understand yet what, we're willing to talk to anyone about what it would take to, again, we don't envy your position either. Like, you guys are in a tough spot as well. We certainly understand that. What we would like to do is see for, again, efficient growth. And again, we're not trying to negatively impact people, but at some point, you can't just, that's just kind of an attitude within zoning. Well, it's fine if you build it, just build it over there. And unfortunately, most of Portage isn't here tonight, just the people that are kind of near where we're targeting for this particular project. So that's just kind of part of the way that it is, and until that plan is updated, that this is the only means by which we have to come and do projects like this.
Thank you for that answer.
Thank you.
Questions? Comments?
The original plans from McMahon actually have the berm plans for both the toll road and McCool. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. It does include the NIPSCO easement, and it shows the strip of barrier you're going to put for the toll road. So I wasn't sure if you're going to plan to keep that or scrap it and do a different design.
I believe that the last discussion that I had with the city was prior to determining whether or not, what was allowable within the NIPSCO easement. So certainly we understand that there's still some moving pieces, and we're willing to talk to whomever we need to do to try to make as many people happy as we can here and still have a successful project for both for us and for the city and for the overall neighborhood in general as well.
As you all know, a NIPSCO easement takes precedent. So, if we.
I think that we do have a carve-out within that easement that we're allowed, but we'd have to verify that.
Right, I mean, if you want to do plantings to deflect the sound attenuation, now it's going to affect, as the roots grow, it's going to get into their substructure.
The drainage was the next question. If, that berm or plantings or whatever's. The original McMahon plan does have backyard drains designed for that, so just keep that in mind.
I haven't seen a full set of working drawings as of yet.
It was provided to the city.
Was it?
Yeah, so.
By McMahon?
I'm not sure by who. I think the petitioner, so.
Are you talking about the old plans or the newer
Yeah,
plans?
the old plans.
Oh, yeah, he's talking about the original plans, yeah.
So coming into this at this stage, was there ever a plan that had more than one exit and entrance to this area at any time? Because my concern is with the increase in traffic, even though with the multifamily would bring more families, more affordable housing, my concern is the safety, having any type of calls for first responders and such, that you have more families there, more need for something that may go wrong, that a crisis may come up or emergency, but yet we only have one exit and one entrance. So what happened to, if at all, if there was ever a second road.
And I appreciate that comment. I was really mystified myself that there was only one access point. But at times, we have built a second access in between two homes that the fire department and police department are aware of, right? I mean, we set an easement between two homes, and that's only used for emergency egress and ingress. And the fire department knows, just like when they show up and they know where the lockbox is, they know right away where it's at, right? So it's the same thing I was kind of miffed by, but you can just take a section out and you put a roadway in, and with a sub-base that can support the vehicular traffic in case of an emergency. That way, if the main road is blocked, which can happen, it can happen, you got a secondary access point. We've had that, I've done that many a times. But, or we have to get a curb cut and figure out where a road goes. We have to amend the plat then.
And I may be able to help. There, where Squirrel Creek went, that was heading west. And at one point, that land could have been developable. But then the Army Corps of Engineers changed that rating of that land. So that would never fit for residential housing.
Yeah, the southern parcel where the original second entrance was planned has been reclassified.
No,
as a
I'm talking
wetland.
about Squirrel
Correct.
Creek going straight to where the
Correct.
industrial building.
Yep,
That land is not conducive to build multifamily.
correct.
Or homes, not
build
multifamily,
anything.
To build anything.
but any homes with that kind of density.
Correct.
Well, to clarify, the original back in it was 1997, the original primary plat was south as well, that's not wetland. That's where that second exit and entrance was going to be, so, yeah.
Can that photo be pushed up so we can see Squirrel Creek Road?
Well, that's,
All we're seeing is Nancy Medora, Cheryl, Goldfinch. We're not
Okay, here, I can share this with you.
yeah, unfortunately, that's just a picture on my presentation.
See, if all the homes were built even on the,
I'm just as frustrated as you are, and it's not even my project. so.
well, I just,
Please.
that's how I get things done. I just-
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
I don't have the internet, so I can't pull it up.
If not, may I have a motion?
I make a motion for an unfavorable change from recommendation, sorry, to the council.
I second.
We have a motion and we have a second. Mr. Cherry, could you call roll?
Victor Mendoza,
Yes.
Melissa Weidenbach,
Yes.
Carissa Childers,
Yes?
Sam LaBoy,
Yes.
Deb Ekdahl,
Yes.
Denise Little,
Yes.
Victoria Vasquez,
Yes.
Alonso Garcia.
Yes.
If there's no old business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Motion carries.